In the world of gold exploration, there is high grade. And then there is the Sunday Creek project in Victoria, Australia. Joining us today on the heels of a spectacular 559-meter mineralized drill hit, plus a new membership in the U.S. Defense Industrial Base Consortium, is Michael Hudson, CEO of Southern Cross. So, Michael, with a $140 million war chest, and worth mentioning that the man who built Newcrest is now on your board, it does seem like the scale of Sunday Creek is basically becoming impossible to not talk about.
Thanks, Rachel. I think we should just leave the interview there, perhaps, and you've given the key points. There's nothing better in this business than finding a tier one discovery with tier one shareholders, with tier one people around you, and a tier one market, without a doubt. So we're hitting it on all those fronts, and I'm very humble and amazingly excited to be the custodian of this project.
Yeah, I mean, even more details here that I can provide here are that you've got a new approval here for an exploration tunnel and a new COO. So on top of all of these things that you're going into 2026 with, walk us through key milestones that we could expect over the next horizon, and of course how this positions Sunday Creek for potential production decisions.
Yeah, so you can see at every point, you mentioned Ian Smith, who ran Newcrest amongst many other large companies. He was top three in Rio. He ran Orica, so he's an industry legend, and he's joined the board. We bought Ryan Osterbury, who built the adjacent mine to us, Costerfield, and ran it for 10 years. We got a CFO, a very well-trained CFO, ex-Newcrest and Evolution also. So very good mining people are being attracted to this project now because it is outstanding. And we are in pre-development, so no doubt we've got the discovery made. It's going to get a lot bigger still. We're only about 10% of the way into the discovery. But our key plan is 200 kilometres of drilling, 60 million Australian dollars. We're into that program now. We've got 10 rigs. We're going to 22. It will be the biggest drill out, I think, globally on a pre-development project by the time this decline or underground tunnel is constructed, and we're just starting work on that. It should be Q3. We're down a kilometre where we can add those extra 12 rigs. So the drill out, the decline, regional exploration, still a quarter of our budget because 90% of that trend hasn't been explored, and going into the first significant maiden resource and economic studies is our plan this time next year.
Let's also talk about the antimony component at Sunday Creek. How does this metals component enhance your value proposition, and what opportunities does inclusion in the U.S. Industrial Base Consortium create for the company?
Yeah, we've been dealing with the DIBC consortium for the last year or so, but I was on a delegation to the US late last year from Australian companies. We have one of the top three antimony projects ex-China in terms of inventory. It will play a huge role in rebuilding that antimony supply chain. 80% of the project by in situ recoverable value is gold, 20% is antimony. So simply put, we say that gold will pay for it, antimony will help permit it because it is such a strategic project.
The recent breakthrough you've had with getting 95% gold recovery while producing antimony concentrate does seem worth mentioning here. How does this sort of advancement give Sunday Creek any competitive advantages in development?
Yeah, it's just another technical tick. This project was a mine for 50 years from the late 1800s, well, the 1800s through to World War I. So we knew how the gold behaved in many ways, but 100-year-old metallurgy is not how we necessarily absolutely replicate it. So we had to do the work to demonstrate that we've got good recoveries of gold. 80% of the gold or more is free or native. 50% comes out in gravity, and the rest essentially in a flotation concentrate. So just another tick. It's going to be a traditional metallurgical flow sheet, not an expensive one because it's a gravity and float. So it just another technical tick that every project must go through.
Well, following your continued success with your drilling, where do you see the greatest potential for resource growth? And how might the underground access that we've talked about change your exploration approach at all?
Yeah, obviously we're thinking a lot about this project, and we're bringing people in to build it. So we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes around scoping and engineering work, just to determine what is the natural cadence of what this project could look like and could produce, and getting access to the mineralisation is not only to drill it out is the main aim, but there's a huge de-risking in the geological resource and eventual mineability of it. So it gives us a whole lot of flexibility to look at the project differently, whether we can cut some things in terms of size, because the limitation is drill out and start at a smaller size and then build the bigger project, or just simply build the bigger project that I just talked to you about. So a lot of work ongoing internally. But I can tell you one thing, that everybody wants this project in production sooner than later because of that antimony component.
How do you and your team make sure you're not too euphoric here, as obviously where the metal prices keep climbing to, and the response from the investor community is so positive at this point?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it at the start. You've got to remain humble in these markets. I've been through a number of these cycles, and I genuinely meant, there's nothing better than a tier one discovery in a tier one market that you're advancing, and there's no shortage of news flow with 10 rigs and 90% exploration to continue. But it's getting just the right team around you, basically, that is keeping it real, and we've just got to execute. Time is our worst enemy, so we're really going for it.
All right, Michael, we'll see you in the spring. I don't know if you can consider March spring, but hopefully it'll be warmer than January. Good to see you.
Thanks, Rachel.
Michael Hudson of Southern Cross Gold. It's SXGC on the exchange. Thanks for watching.